Hello, this is Josh Pasmore giving another FAQ for the OmniOne ecosystem. And the question today that I'm receiving a lot is, how do we prevent hijacking? And so first, let me dissect what hijacking means. Hijacking is when you have an intention, you've done work towards that intention, and someone comes along, uses money, power, decisions, some sort of method to take the momentum. There's legal ways to hijack people. Taking ownership, for example, somehow. And these can and they pull it in another direction. You got hijacked. You got your team, your money, your time, all pulled away from where it was originally intending. Now, if they come in and support that, then they're not hijacking it, they're supporting. So it's about getting from where we're at together to our intention. And if our intentions are clear, if we've created our ethos, we've created our game plan, and we've all agreed on it, we would suggest in the ethos, what we do and how we prevent hijacking is we give you, well, it's required, we give you a template for a gen plan. And this outlines how you're onboarding, how you're offboarding, how the economies work, and how decisions are made. And it really gives everyone a very clear picture of where they're going, how they're getting there, what their values are behind all this, which is wrapped up in the decision making. And we suggest you have, instead of one person creating this idea, ethos, we suggest 2, 3, or 4. Now, if you're all super coherent, you're super clear on where you're going, then you can all help guide that towards your goals. And once you're set in motion and all these things have been figured out, it's like, let's say we built the house plans. The next couple of years, all we do is build that house. Now, how is it possible when you have house plans already built? If let's say you have 3 people invested in a house and you have the house plans built and you start building, how hard is it for one of those 3 people, or even the workers, to go and take it in another direction? It's very hard because you've already got plans that you're building on. You've already decided. In order for you to change that plan would take consensus. You would all have to agree on that because you're changing the original blueprints. Works the same way in ethos. It's very similar. It's just using planning. It's very simple. This is how we prevent hijacking. If you are an active member of your ethos, you create one, you're a part of it, you're in there, you're going to have to decide to change that. Now, if you step back out of it, it's possible that those people say, hey, let's take another direction, and they take it in another direction, of course. So the best way to prevent hijack is to stay a part of what you're creating. Now, I wouldn't even call it hijack if you're not involved, because it's someone fulfilling your intentions for you is slavery. You can't get hijacked when you're hijacking them. You're hijacking their free will. So if you have a top-down organization and that's what you want to run, then go ahead and run that. Put a CEO in charge and make sure that they do what you're telling them to do. Okay. Now, remember, everyone else that's not, even the CEO, everyone's getting hijacked except for you. They're all having their mission, their purpose in life is not getting fulfilled. They're doing what you want. So we all want to know how not to get hijacked. Every single one of us is worried when we get into business with someone, are they going to take it in another direction? So this is how we stop it. We stop it through our decision model and our blueprints, our ethos, our gen plan. So our gen plan, as we said, it's the blueprint. It gets us there. Now, if there's consensus, including yourself, and you go in another direction, that's not hijacking. You're choosing another direction, and that's where you're evolving to. Now, you can split and do 2 things. Part of our decision model is the ability to do 2. If you're with your team and you're doing this, maybe you come back together. Maybe these guys do something right, and you're like, oh, let's go take this path. Okay, so this is being able to do both is sometimes a key ingredient in this. If you have a consortium and you have 2 websites, and you've got 2 big companies coming together, they build one website together, but they both want specific parts separately, they would build those separate. Those are 2 different paths people can take. Now, will it end up in the same place or will it filter people? That's just dependent. But if you want to look at an ethos or omni as a circle or a scope. This is the boundary of agreements, which tell us exactly what we're doing and not doing. And this is a scope that's based on our vision, our values of where we're going, where our heart wants us to be in the future. And if we have that scope and we have a clear boundary, and there's no going out of it unless by consensus, but anything within that can be done, then people can come fill out those pieces, and they're all helping us move towards. They're filling in the picture. So if we have a circle and we have little lines and we have more lines, and they're all filling in that picture. So it's good to have diversity to the point where you're getting out of our value system and you're saying, okay, now if your values are organic food and then they start producing something that's not organic, they would very clear line of that's not happening within the system. They can do that outside of the system, outside of the ethos. So this is how this works, and this is how we prevent hijacking. It can't happen if it's not in the scope unless it's consensus. So you actually, as someone with an idea that doesn't want to get hijacked, and you team up with others that have that same idea, it's actually a I wouldn't say it's hijack proof, because it's a variable term. It's not a clear definitional term, but it is the chances of you not getting hijacked if you stick in your role and you continue to be a part of this organization and part of the decisions. If you don't screw up royally, if you're competent, coherent, and you're able to communicate, and you're able to do your role without messing everything up. If you can't do your role, then you're going to have to move to another role. That's pretty obvious, and nothing's going to work anyway. But if you really want your vision to succeed, you get in there, you gather your team, and when you do step away for a little while, 99% chance it's going to keep going in the same direction. It's highly doubtful, unless that everyone's going to be secretly not liking you. And even if they say, okay, let's make a decision, and they change the direction while you're gone, let's just say you're gone, you leave for a while, that doesn't mean they don't like you. It just means that they chose to do something else. You can still come back and say, hey guys, can we do this? And you gather 3 of you guys and you continue over here. So anything's possible. It's when we look at it with the lose, win, fail mindset, or there's nothing possible beyond my one possibility of how this is going to turn out. When we can open up beyond that, we can see that it's almost impossible to hijack something. When you're geared, you're going to make it happen. You're responsible. It's a self-organized system. All right. Thank you.